Fucking Randy Man Savage takeover. What?
Oh
An
yeah.
exorcism while you're fucking giving them. No.
No, this is a bit.
Yo. All right. That's a way to get it out.
That's what she said.
Where's the lie?
Smoking in the boys' room.
That's a good song.
Smoking in the loud in school.
Hmm. No, but that shit was
Somebody's
good.
game.
I'm low key like.
You started the stream?
Yep.
Oh, but it's on YouTube. It's starting up on YouTube?
Yeah.
Copy that.
I'm gonna set this up the rest of the way.
So real quick, I'm gonna bring up family court, split families, child support reform, just that whole inclusive subject of how that affects mental health. Also, I'm going to bring up elderly mental health, whether it's a retirement home, they live at home with a family member, they're at a home where the conditions really aren't considered a home. And being able, I have a 101 years old. He's a Harvard survivor. Yeah, and have an insight.
Yo, we're getting ready to get started here in a few minutes. Please share this to your favorite person. I'm actually reposting it right now. Let's go. Mental health is live. Mental is live. Share for me. TV. Oh, who left? Who was that took off? Somebody, right? Yeah, my bad. No, I'm not trying to ignore nobody who's on here. Appreciate you guys for being on here. I always just want to make sure I send it to everybody that might need it, or somebody that will appreciate being able to do that, overall. A lot of people don't realize it, so I like to offer it to people. And maybe they'll benefit from it, They'll get some wins. I'm getting ready to click over to this right now. As you can see, bam. Not a big meeting, and it's been smaller lately, and I've noticed people are a little more shut off of talking. So here's your opportunity to grow with somebody else and talk and build and get an idea for things that, maybe it could be effective. That being said, thank you guys. I love you guys. See you on the other side.
Do the same thing. We all have a heart. We all hurt. We all laugh. We all cry. So what? Our skin color and our choices are different. We're still human. That's what we need to improve on.
Yeah.
We need to do that.
Yeah. We shouldn't be separated by color or anything. We're fucking humans.
Oh yeah, Black History.
So then why is the government paying each district by how many different ethnicities are enrolled by schools? How is it that it's only by the demographics you are getting paid for the supplemental things that you need in order to pass on to other things? How is it that you're still cutting off certain activities when these kids really need it and it's a part of their growth and development into being good human beings?
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. With that being said, welcome everybody. This is Mental Health. It's 22. It's a new year. 2222 in the building.
Let's
It's the year
go.
of the tiger.
What it do, baby?
The
Man,
year of the tiger.
let's go.
I know I'm right here somewhere.
That'd be absurd. Um,
That's a lie.
so there's a lot, you know. I know that we are creating new topics and new layouts for stuff for what we want to do. And to me, that's a bigger, you know, it's a big deal to acknowledge that we don't have to talk about our personal mental health. We can just talk about a mental health topic. And to me, that's important. You know, it's important to know. Oh, my bad, y'all. I'm changing my image. So like, I mean, there's a lot. Sorry, Morris.
I'm not sorry. I like that one.
I know. I picked a good one. I see. It wasn't a troll. But it's important to know that you don't have to share your personal experience. It could just be on the topic relations, and or can just listen, which is okay, whether it's here or it's directly on the YouTube. Thank you to the subscribers and people on the YouTube right now. Click the thumbs up and like for more notifications. With that being said, I'm going to let Julio kind of run some of this tonight because this is going to be his baby, and we'll be announcing a new flyer and layout for the new mental health on Wednesdays. So I don't want to, I don't want to let everybody have everything yet, but we're good. We'll be in there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank everybody for being here, showing up. Everybody's supporting. Anybody in the chat, don't forget to like, put that thumbs up, and please subscribe and share. What we're trying to do is we're trying to help everybody and ourselves at the same time. So, you know, with that support and being able to spread the word, you're doing a service for all. So, with that being said, my name is Julio Anaya III. I go by Born Evil III. I'm the vice president here at Born Evil. And so mental health, it's something that we face every day. It doesn't just stop, just because a certain celebration is taking place or a new movie came out or anything like that. It takes place every day. We face it every day. We open our eyes. We're faced with the challenge of navigating our mental health. How are we going to navigate that? Put our best foot forward. And we're all human and we struggle. Like me, I know I'm heavily flawed. I'm not perfect. Just like everybody else, I make mistakes every day. But I have the opportunity to make those mistakes and learn from those mistakes. And I know that goes a long way when you're building yourself and you're faced with these things day in, day out. You try to incorporate certain ways of improving yourself and being able to hold on to those things and use them as tools to apply, and eventually in the long run strengthen your mental health. I've never met a person where they're like, yeah, my mental health is perfect, it's fine, it's great, I don't have nothing, I'm good, I'm cured. I've never met a person like that. I don't think that exists. And I'm not downing anybody. I'm not saying, oh, you have to have mental health issues. It's just, even if some people don't even know that. Some people don't even know when they have an anxiety attack or a panic attack. They don't even know what that is, and they don't know that it's due to anxiety and due to stress and, unfortunately, mental health. So I know that me personally, being a father, being a co-parent, in the early stages of splitting families, even being a kid myself and growing up with split families and not having my father there and growing up in a drug, toxic, violent environment, and trying to unlearn things that I learned and thought they were okay and acceptable. And I had to tell myself that wasn't, because I started to notice that I would let moments try to define me, and I would react in ways that I knew that wasn't me. You know, in the heat of the moment, in the heat of the battle, you're all emotions, and you say words that you probably don't mean at all. It's just you're in defense mode, you know? And so being able to work on yourself and like myself personally, these are all things that I incorporate to make sure that, you know, me being a father, that I can make sure my mental health is good and good enough for my kids. That way I can still be involved. And, you know, I know that, and I'm blessed to have had the worst of what I feel my mental health behind me. That way, as my kids get older, they don't see that, you know, and they'll know when they get older that, hey, you know, you're going to deal with these things, you're going to run into these issues, you growing up as a young man in this world, and then even, you know, a young woman, that you're going to be faced with all this adversity, you know, and you really got to be able to, it's hard to discover it within yourself sometimes, you know, sometimes if you're fortunate enough to have somebody to text, to call, and just to share that, you know, what you're going through, and they might trigger something within you to overcome that and assist that. And I know that goes a long way. So I know I don't want to get all over the place. I kind of want to stay in certain areas real quick. So back to family court and split families, you know, growing up as a child myself and being in that environment and not having both parents, it wore on me, and it taught me things that weren't good, and I had to unlearn those things. And then being a father myself, I knew that when I had the opportunity to be a father, I wanted to be the best father possible. I wanted to make sure that our relationship stayed together. My kids didn't have to go through none of that. And I felt like I put way too much pressure on myself, you know, where I was just like, you know what, you're fine. These kids are not growing up in a fucking drug environment. They're not growing around violence. It's not, you know, when my son Eli, you know, he's going to be in 7th grade next year. And I think about when I was in 6th grade, holy shit, shame on me. Like, I was wilding out, you know what I'm saying? I was indulging in cannabis, indulging in alcohol. I think I did my first hallucinogenics by the time I was like 12, you know, mushrooms, acid. But I was introduced to those things at an early age. I mean, there was cocaine, there was meth, there was all those drugs around me, alcohol. You know, my mother, she was a bartender my whole life, you know, and the after party was at Julio's house, you know, where Mama Julio was at. So, you know, my kids have definitely grown up complete polar opposite of how I grew up. And even though their mother and I aren't together, it's, you know what, 20 times way better than how I had it. And overall, even though me and, you know, the boys' mom, we really don't see eye to eye. I think there's a lot of bitterness and unhealing that's still there, but that's okay. I still respect her. I respect her husband. I respect what they do for our kids. And I keep it G. I keep it moving. You know, my daughter's mother, you know, she's great. She's a great person. I respect her, you know, tremendously. No drama, you know, lets me see my daughter whenever I want. And I feel like if women and men saw the goodness and within each other rather than being bitter and whose bankroll could get custody of the kids more, that really needs to just change. And that goes into what I hope, and I'm doing more research myself. We don't fact check here, okay? So I'm doing more research myself for me personally, but I feel like there needs to be some sort of child support reform. This is the reform I'm speaking about. A lot of times you get great fathers who lose in court based off of bitterness and based off of who has the best attorney. So you're having people make decisions based off of money rather than, man, this guy works 3 jobs, takes care of his kids, the kids love him, he's not abusive, there's no police reports, there's no jail, it's nothing like that, you know, but he only gets to see his kids 20 or 30% of the time, but still has to pay child support, to where, it feels like maybe the child support is just a paycheck for that parent. It's vice versa. Whether you're a piece of shit mom or you're a piece of shit dad, you don't even get to get called that. You're a piece of shit parent. The other parent, the custodial, non-custodial parent, there's a reason for that. But I'm just saying there needs to be a reform to where it doesn't always have to. I feel like it needs to be more accomplished during the mediation process rather than going to court. Mediation, they need to be like, look, why do you want custody of him? Oh, is it because of distance? Is it a job? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Now, when you guys live closer, why can't there be some sort of motion towards like, look, we as parents want to agree that, hey, it's changed and we can go ahead and move without having to have somebody proceed and hear us out, and that doesn't happen. I feel like a lot of mothers, they get custody of the kids automatically without the fathers even getting a chance. And, there's a lot of fathers out there who are better parents than the mothers. And, it's not to knock anything away, but that's just the reality. That happens. There's a flip side. Like, it goes both ways. And there's a lot of fathers, there's a lot of parents, period, that messed it up for a lot of other parents who are all about their kids and take pride in being a parent and do what they're supposed to do, and they don't get the opportunity to be with their kids as much as they deserve to be. And I know a lot of people can relate to that. I think that it goes for in life as well, as our emotions sometimes make our decisions for us a lot, and it shouldn't have to be that way. If we just thought things out a little more and articulated and really just took a back seat in our emotions, then we wouldn't allow those to make the decisions that we might regret or might be too late. Sometimes we let our emotions define us in situations to where it's not even a big deal. It goes to a point to where it goes overboard, and that doesn't even need to happen in that situation. There doesn't need to be that outcome, And so I just feel that if we continue to be vocal and start to open up a little more, whoever you are, if there's somebody that actually cares for you, you have people that are there for you, they tell you they're there for you, utilize that. They genuinely care about you and they love you. Utilize that company, utilize that extension, utilize that lifeline. Don't be afraid. Swallow your pride. Having those negative thoughts and feeling like you're worthless and feeling like you're not enough. This helps my mental health. Me being able to speak and have people give me the opportunity to speak to them. This accompanies my mental health and strengthens me and gives me power to move on and keep going. Just like when I have my kids around me, it re-energizes me, it powers me up. I know Ad can go down, go see his child and hug his child and boom, like we're going all night. We don't even need drugs. You know what I'm saying? You just have your children. That love of your children supersedes any love that you have for anything else. Whether you love your parent, you love your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, anything that you think you love beyond anything, when you have your child, that love is more than anything. Fuck what you're talking about. The love for your child over everything, right? Period. That's really what it is. So I just know that if we moved in that direction and we had a reform and it was equal and people took accountability and really made the effort, and there should be more resources for that as well. I feel there's a lack of resources for people who might not have the financial backing for them to acquire a retainer for an attorney, and that even goes with people facing criminal cases that are fighting for their lives. They get a public defender and also called a public pretender, and they're not really represented for their best interest. They're just a number and a paycheck and get you to take a deal and just, come on, let's get this over with type shit, So definitely needs to be reform in family court, child support, split families. I don't want to see kids grow up to where they don't feel valued and they feel that the emotions of their parents growing up and seeing the toxicity and seeing the arguments. I just want to stop the perpetuation. I want to when I caught myself arguing with my kids' mothers and screaming at the top of my lungs, I scared the shit out of myself. I cried because I didn't want to get to that point, because I don't want my kids to ever witness that and feel that that's okay and that's how you express your emotions. Like, it's okay to express yourself, but it's not okay to express yourself on a toxic level, supported by toxicity, and always taught to the tough love and the suck it up, and just the stigmas, all the stigmas that just surround that. And so I want to go ahead and move in to my next topic. But does anybody have anything to say before I move on to my next topic in regards to what I just spoke about with family court?
I really can appreciate a lot of that too, because I'm going through some of the same things, and it would be nice to have a little more positivity on the male side, considering I'm not even a convict or been in prison. I'm a business owner. I pay my taxes, clean cut for the most part, and on their end, when they see shit, right? So it's like, I feel like the stigma for men to be are being punished, like, I've and every situation might be different. I think mine is that I decided that our relationship personally was too toxic for me to continue rubbing that off on my kids. So instead of doing that, we can't be together, but we have to work together because we have kids. But if that's not what the person wants, naturally you're gonna get all this, extra fuckery thrown your way. And so I can really appreciate a lot of that. I just wanted to say that for the most part. I thought it was really good, well said. Yeah, let's get it.
Thank you for that. And I know that it doesn't always have to be personal when we speak up here, but sometimes we can't help it because those personal factors happen. And there's times where I don't want to speak about it, my personal life and my personal stuff, and I'm just here for support. And there's times where I do want to speak, and that's because I'm working on myself as well. And for my support group to be here, for those who are watching, trying to seek help and improve their own mental health, I appreciate you all with gratitude. And that's also something that I purchased a little bit ago. I think it was late last year. I purchased a guided journal. It's called Moments of Gratitude. And if you're not familiar with this it's there's like pages available for you to make daily entries. It's like your own personal guided journal, and there's inserts and there's questions, and it challenges yourself. It gives you the opportunity to challenge yourself. So like right here, this insert going into a new chapter, it says, "Take life at your own pace. We often get distracted by looking at other people's lives. It seems like someone's always has something that we long for, which can leave us feeling envious or dissatisfied. We tell ourselves, if only I had a bigger house, if only I got that promotion, if only I were healthier." Catch yourself each time you say these things, and find a way to remind yourself that you may be exactly where you need to be, and that path is your own. So after that insert, it tells you, or asks you, what is about other people's lives that distract you? So that gives you an opportunity to answer that. Okay. Then after that, it says, what about your life is wonderful? And I want to answer that question right here with everybody. Okay. My life is wonderful because I had the opportunity I'm going to be 4 years old. I have the opportunity to turn 39. Okay. I'm 39 years old right now. I have the opportunity to know what having kids is like. I have the opportunity to raise my kids. I have the opportunity to have had that love and learn and being able to discover that love. And my life is wonderful because I have a great support system now. I have a great group of people, peers. Um, my life is wonderful for many things. Even though things that happened in my life not too long ago that have challenged me, and if it wasn't for me taking the necessary steps and precautions and assistance from myself and from others, I probably would have handled it differently. So my life is wonderful because I'm alive and I feel alive. I'm not just alive because I'm breathing, talking, walking. I feel alive. I actually feel alive, and I have a lust for life, and I enjoy it. And I hope that for those who don't have that and they're yearning for that, they're longing for that, you deserve it. Once again, that is Moments of Gratitude, a guided journal. And yeah, just wanted to share that.
That was heat. I like that. That journal's fire. Mars, you have something to say?
I actually, yeah, I actually have something similar, except it's actually done for shadow work. It's for working on a reflection on ourselves, our insecurities, our flaws, and our textures of our understanding our own toxicities within friendships, relationships, work ethics, and so forth. And it's a great way to definitely put things certain in perspective and lay things out on the table of what things you can change, what things you change little by little, and what things changes, rapidly has to, because it's leading you down an endless spiral of you're constantly focusing on the wrong things, like your negative emotions, and therefore your negative manifestations. You get frustrated, you get more agitated, and then you just become, you just start destroying your progress, and then you have to start back at one. Well, why do that when you can, find a different way to cope with it? So writing things out and putting things in, in order of what I need help with, and what, things can are easily mandible enough to put things more into. That's where I'm with well. Sorry. It's just more, it's more things to focus on, the better perspectives of like your gratitudes. So when you're frustrated, you focus on, name 5 things, positive things about yourself that you like. Then you're not so mad anymore. So I wanted to add that to for Julio.
Excellent, excellent.
Thank you. Thank you. Perfect.
Hi guys. Do you mind if I share?
Sure.
Kind of like what you guys said. It's a book, but this book is kind of like different. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And I know it sounds fucking radical. It sounds like, oh, this guy's like not giving a. No, it's nothing like that. Actually, it's kind of the opposite. It's giving a fuck about what matters, meaning like letting go of all like the poopy stuff. Like, why would I focus on the negatives? Like what Julio's saying, what are we appreciative of? Like what's something wonderful going on in our lives? I'm learning to get the kind of stuff, and like I'm realizing the more you look at the light, the less you see the dark. So y'all know what I mean, type shit.
Facts. That part.
I love it. I love it.
Juice,
You're
interesting week for you.
yeah, bro. Kind of wild. Sunday night, back at work, there was like a little altercation. It was like a pistol whip. Somebody got pistol whipped. Somebody got robbed. There was a shooting, and like, you know what I mean. Shit got wild. Just really got me thinking, bro. Like life's really short. You know what I mean. And anybody can go at any time. That's why after that, I really took the time to like spend the time with family. You know what I mean. Monday, it was my nephew's birthday, so I really didn't pop in the Discord like that, but I definitely was with family. You know, what I mean, I was with my dad, telling him how much I appreciate him, because damn, it was real scary. You feel me? Like I didn't know what the hell was gonna happen, but that right there kind of set me off in a negative motion, bro. You feel me? It was I was down today in the morning. I had a little mental breakdown. You feel me? I was woke up crying, woke up. You know what I mean? Just I don't know what it was, bro. It just something triggers in my mind when shit goes bad, bro. But I just gotta do that mental flip. You feel me? And just start thinking, like you guys said, positive. You feel me? Start trying to flip my thinking of being more grateful. You feel me? Like instead of waking up like, damn, I woke up. Like I get to wake up, bro. Like that's a blessing. You feel me? So I'm just slowly but surely switching away my mental state back up. You feel me? And we out here, bro. Just yeah, it's crazy. But we out here. We just at work. You feel me?
So we out here.
That's crazy too to think.
It's like a blink of an eye. You feel me? And it's just I don't know, man. Kind of hard. You feel me? In today's, well,
It's definitely got to be difficult. I mean, especially being in that environment, and then having to kind of just clean it all up and come back to work the next day like nothing happened.
no facts, bro. So my boss had told us to clean it up, and there was blood everywhere on top of the patio section, bro. So that alone, and the cops came, bro. So you know what I mean. That alone is another type of like, come on, bro. I just cleaned up a crime scene. You feel me? So it was a little wild, and then it was back open up. That place was back open up on Tuesday, and I was working at a different location. But yeah, it's a little scary, bro, because that is a gang territory, bro. It's a part of the Parus. I don't know if you guys are, you know what I mean, but yeah. So it's kind of iffy, you feel me, because we do have a little bit of mixed people up in there. So it is what it is, bro. You know, but it's just scary.
It's crazy, bro. That's crazy. I'm doing okay personally. I think I'm, I mean, are we ever really okay, right? But I feel personally good. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot of money to be made. So I'm kind of just staying on the path and not letting myself get overwhelmed with anything. If I can't take care of a task, say that for that moment, I'll come back to it after I've finished the rest of my goals for the day. So I mean, if it's the best piece of advice I can give y'all is, if something bad is going on, you're having a bad day to start, there's always a way to turn that shit around, and you can always take care of it. Stuff will always be okay as long as you make it. You have to have that will. Say you're a painter and you get a full-time job, and the full-time job is so exhausting that you don't have time for anything else. You don't know what to do. It's a mind state at that point on whether you really want to or not, because let's be real, there's people that work 15-hour days and come home and make whole albums, or will spend time with family and record a song and do the dishes and do this, do that. It's not impossible. You just have to allow your mind state to stay open and accept it. So just keep that positivity in mind for the week as it goes along. So I know we're in the middle here. Keep on your shit, y'all.
Yeah, that's well said. That's a balance, right? We got to be able to find that balance, and especially if you have a significant other and you live with a significant other, being able to both work and raise a family and trying to find that balance with each other, or being able to come home and cook dinner, clean the house, go activities with the kids. Don't overlook that. Don't overlook that happiness. Don't overlook that activity. Don't overlook what's happening, because when it might turn into a routine, but you got to step back and realize what that is. And that's the shit that that's love. You're supposed to be doing right there. When you have a family, you got to be able to communicate. You got to be able to understand each other. And you got to be each other's best friends. Like, to me personally speaking, I think like a relationship is an extension of being best friends, great friendship. I want to you want to be able to joke and talk shit and tease and give a hard time, and be able to share ideas and bounce off each other. There's a lot of stuff that's inclusive with that, especially when you have a family. You definitely don't want to come home after working a long day, putting in your hard effort and your work, and you come home to your kids and your significant other just, it's not the business. It's not what it should be. When you're not showing up and doing those things to them. And it shouldn't be that way the other way around either. Like, you should be able to talk those things out and be able to just stop it before it accelerates. Unfortunately, I've been a casualty of probably not capturing that sooner, but there's a reason why certain things happen, whether it's, it's just it was time, or maybe it's needs to have time to grow and that person needs to find their own happiness. There's a lot of people in relationships right now that aren't happy with themselves. And I'm not trying to say that you can't be happy. You can't make anybody happy until you're happy. Okay? Or not even but. I know for me, I had to make myself happy in a lot of different ways, mentally, physically, so I could be a better version of myself for my children and, for the rest of the people in my life that care about me. I didn't want to be in a dark hole, depressed, not talking to anybody, not being a good parent. I had to make sure that I just keep going. And I know it might be hard for other parents where when it's fresh and the parents have the kids initially, it's hard for them too, having to deal with their own emotions and their own mental health, and then trying to make sure that the kids are okay during this process. I commend that. I understand that. I feel that. But what needs to be understood is we can't waste time and energy off of just bullshit and just negativity and fighting and arguing. Like, that shit is just... Because, it's like one day we're all going to die. We're just waiting our time. And, like, do you really want to die hella unhappy and be in an argument with your significant other and be at each other's throats and hating each other and calling each other names, and fucking the next day they pass away? You don't want that shit. So, like, either work on that shit and be vocal now, or be better for each other, be better for yourselves and for each other. And if you got to go your separate ways to work on yourselves too, whatever. Just, if you got kids, work on being dope ass co-parents, like, that's really what it comes down to, is just, you got to be able to work together. You got to be able to work on yourselves. It's just work. We're all just a work in progress, So, yeah.
Always going to be a student in the game, y'all. Always. Nobody's perfect. You're right. And co-parenting's probably not going to be easy in the beginning. It's not going to be what you want. But if that relationship is that toxic, or that layout is that bad, I mean, who wants to live like that? What?
Yeah.
If you have kids, they definitely don't deserve it.
No, the kids don't deserve that. The kids don't deserve to grow up with screaming, shouting, arguing, and dad sleeping on the couch, mom sleeping in the room. Just, yeah. It's not cool. Our kid, we gotta remember that our kids are gonna be grown ass adults just like us, talking shit, drinking, trying drugs, having sex, discovering, just navigating life, learning, trial and error, same as we are.
Yeah.
And we got to try to prepare them for that. We got to try to make sure that we can tell them about the mistakes that we made, so they don't make those same mistakes, but they're still going to make their own mistakes, but we're like molding our children to be whoever they want to be. They can be the next president. They could be the next mayor, governor, public servant, doctor, whatever, like actor, they have opportunity to do whatever they want, and it's our job to incubate that, to be
Facts.
the best for them so they can be the best for themselves, you know? Like, that's why, like, I got to make sure my mental health is straight so my kids grow up with a dope ass environment to where it's not a negative effect, where mental health is not a negative effect, it's a positive effect. Because it's okay to bring awareness to mental health, even though you might not have a negative mental health experience or poor mental health. It's okay to bring light, it's okay to bring awareness and help people and encourage mental health. And, you know, I know next Wednesday, we're going to go into a new flavor, a new aesthetic, a new name. We'll be announcing that. I don't know, probably Friday, Saturday, sometime we'll be announcing that. And it's for all of us. It's for everybody. It's for you. It's anybody in here, your friends, family, cousins, uncles, aunts, nieces, anybody. Even elderly folks. I know we kind of get lost in that. You know, we're always kind of, you know, we look at celebrities and, you know, that kind of gets brought up to a big spotlight whenever it's a celebrity's mental health. But what about the elderly folks? What about if anybody has grandparents in here, you know, your own grandparents' mental health, if they're still here? You know? Maybe they're in a home, or maybe they're in a retirement home, or they're living with you, or they're living with somebody in the family where they're taking care of them. Or maybe they're in one of their homes where, you know, you go there and they just don't seem like they're treated right.
Yeah.
Home is not the vibe. That doesn't. I do not emergency medical transportation. I would transport outpatient, inpatient, chemotherapy patients, dialysis, and a lot of elderly folks from convalescent homes and stuff like that. And to hear them, to have conversations with them and hear them talk and share their experiences and share their angle and their views, you know, they share their mental health. And when you hear certain things like, yeah, but I lived a good life, I'm ready to go, you know, they're like 70. And you're like, damn, like for real, like after 70 years, you're like, I'm good. You know, like my great grandfather, he's a World War II Pearl Harbor survivor. He's 101 years old, Frank Paredes. And he's still so sharp. You know, they recently put him in hospice, but that was like 5 months ago and he's still going. You know what I'm saying? Like he was still drinking beer, still driving, still laying bricks, still working hard. He had a minor stroke and his hand was affected. And he was like, hey, he was like, God made sure I could still hold Corona, so it's okay. And, you know, this is my great grandfather talking this shit. And to hear him and tell his stories and share his experiences, you know, you got to think 101 years old. That's a lot to have seen, a lot to have witnessed, a lot of change, a lot of evolution. That's from the first vehicle to the television to just the telephone, from dirt roads to asphalt. There's just so much, from presidents to civil rights. I mean, women's rights, everything. I mean, just everything. And so, you know, I feel like we forget about that. I spoke with a gentleman for one of my other jobs, and he had a second stroke. And he told me, he said that he wished that, he said, I wish the Lord would have just took me though. I was ready, you know. I was like, but yeah, like you were still given another chance, and I'm pretty sure there's still family members that want you here and would still love to have you, you know. And he's like, yeah, but I just don't feel good. I don't feel good. I don't like living like this. He was like, when I had my last stroke, I was hoping that would have been it. I thought it was. And he's like, I was just having a dream. Somebody woke me up from my dream, and I was in a hospital. And it was crazy to hear that, you know, because we get caught up with everything that we do, that we lose track that we're going to die one day. You know, it's just, we're born and one day we die. It's just a matter of time and how. And when people talk about it so openly and so freely, just because, you know, they've they felt like they put in their years. He's like, I retired at this year, and I have great grandkids, and I got businesses. My great grandson owns this business. And he's just like, I did my job, I did my part, I raised my kids. I'm good to go. Whenever he wants to take me, whenever the universe wants to take me, I'm good to go. And I was, it's crazy, it's tight. But at the same time, it's like, man, like, I know that there was a point where I didn't want to live, but then like I want to live because I want to have the opportunity to see my kids grow. I want to have the opportunity to be an old ass motherfucker and have some grandkids too. I'm hoping that my grandfather's genes, I have that in me, and I could be maybe a fucking 101 years old. As long as I'm still cool moving around like that, I'll take it, But I just know that there's a lot of elderly folks in homes and living with family members. They're not being treated right. They're not asked that question, like, how are you? They're kind of just going through the motions, going with the flow. So I feel like that gets put on the back burner a lot. And I wanted to help bring awareness. If anybody knows anything about elderly mental health, and there is like a platform or something recent or current, I would definitely like to attach to that and see and promote that and encourage and advocate for that as well, because one of these days we're all going to be old shits as well. We're going to be old farts, mad. I know Ab is going to be the guy yelling at people that fucking walk on his lawn. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a fucking sidewalk right there. Why aren't you the sidewalk? Why are you walking across the lawn? And that's okay. I want to be old, and I want to complain, and I want to be able to go through the cycle of life like that. I want to be old, but I don't want to be mad and upset all the time. I want to be happy and chill, and I want to just get pissed off about shit that it's okay to be pissed off about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Real talk. I want to be old and gray. I'm gonna be 40 years old this year. Man, I'm appreciative for everything that I have now and everything that I went through. It's not always perfect. It's not always, we all try to smile, but, we also all cry. We all smile in public, but we don't always cry in public. And, we all cry, and it's okay. Crying is good for you. It doesn't make you lesser of a person. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I don't care if somebody's like, oh, you fucking too low, you crying all the fucking time. Like, if you're crying because you got some shit going on in your life and you're getting that emotion out, fucking cry. But if you're crying about sports and shit that's not even, then that's bullshit crying. But if you're really some shit, get it out, cry, cleanse your soul, be kind to one another. Fuck a race, fuck a religion, fuck a choice, whatever choice and opinions people have. That's allowed to have that. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially with the pandemic, this is all I'm gonna say. I grew up, and I know a lot of people grew up in smoking and non-smoking sections in restaurants. Okay, they might have had a little plant that separated you from the smoking section. You could have been an infant baby. You getting secondhand smoke. I grew up where you could ride in the bed of a truck and you didn't need seatbelts, and you were traveling 100 miles to the mountains. Okay, you used to be able to ride motorcycles with no helmets. You used to be able to ride in airplanes and smoke cigarettes. You used to be able to light cigarettes, a lighter in an airplane, all the way up there like that. All right, think about that. All right, those are choices. Just like if there's a speed limit, why do vehicles get made to go past that speed limit? It's a choice. If you want to go past that speed limit, there's going to be repercussions, there's going to be consequences. Just like anything else, you have a decision, you have a choice, you have an opinion, it's yours, you can have it, it's okay, we might not agree, but it doesn't need to define our relationship or friendship or anything else. It's perfectly okay. I don't eat meat. If you eat meat, it's okay. I'm not going to hate you for it. It's your choice, and this is my choice. So learn through love now, love hard, fuck the bullshit. We're not perfect, and let's just put our best foot forward and just keep fucking hammering at this thing we call life, man. Let's go.
I love it. Love it. I'm eating broccoli, just so you know. No. I'm gonna leave this open if anybody cares to share about anything or has any inputs on any of the topics we talked about today. And if not, I will be ending the meeting for this evening. Okay. Hey, we're here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Thank you guys for coming through and watching us. I think there was about 12 or 15 people watching tonight, so it's really nice to get more people in here every time that we're live. Pop through anytime. This is your mental health. You can come here to the Discord, communitybookclub.org. I'll also be creating a couple other links to make it probably a little simpler. But I like that community book club shit. It's hilarious and fire. Stay tuned. We'll see you soon. Follow Evil Gaming. Follow us on Twitch, or evilgaming.com or eviltwitch.com. Follow us on YouTube. Click the bell for notifications. These are all my friends.